What's going on, everybody? Emmett Ferguson here, and this video is basically about copywriting and strippers. Copywriters are like strippers in so many ways. And in a moment here, we're going to review a book called The Halbert Copywriting Method, Part 3. And, this book is ultimately going to improve your copywriting, but let's, go into this metaphor because I think this is an amazing metaphor for copywriters, people that want to get into copywriting, and anything like that. Because at the end of the day, when you're, and we're not talking about like the controversy of strippers or anything. We're just comparing. They exist, they have lives, and they have feelings too. So, just thinking about the analogies of the job role, right? You got copywriters on one side. I mean, there's good copywriters, there's bad copywriters. There's copywriters that have been doing it for a long time and are experienced, and there's copywriters that are brand new to the game. And at the end of the day, the job of both of those people is to entice, to seduce, whether it's a combination of music and atmosphere and just an entertaining environment and clothing, or whether it's a combination of understanding of writing skills, communication skills, and understanding what people desire, what it is that they want. So on one hand, a stripper's job is fairly simple. They've got people going into a club to see them, and they all basically want one thing, or at least a few things within a similar category. But as a copywriter, right, you got a copywriter who's focusing in. You got different audiences. You got copywriters who write writers for fishermen. You got copywriters who write products for athletes. You got copywriters who write copy for books, for modeling clothes. So you got all sorts of different things. And once that copywriter focuses down, their job is almost the same, where they are applying their skills to be able to seduce, to intrigue, to entice, to make someone interested in what they have to offer. And although most people that go in a strip club, I would say that they're interested in some way already. And there's that marketer's job of having to put that copy in front of the right person. Like you're not going to put copy a copywriter who's writing a message geared towards interior designers and put that in front of a lumberjack, unless that lumberjack has some connection with interior designers for some reason, or they've shown interest in it. But when you've got the right concept, or when you've got the right idea, the right copywriter in front of the right person, and once they're doing a good job of intriguing, enticing, entertaining, keeping them engaged, keeping them watching or looking at your text, you've basically got a stripper there. Someone who's an expert at that process of seduction, someone that's an expert of keeping with the flow of music, where the movements matter, and that interaction with the other person, and creating that connection, whether it's real or fake or whatever. But copywriters know these things, and they know how to communicate it in the form of writing. Understanding what might cause someone to be interested in. Getting to know their world. They spend a lot of time researching. And this is so where a stripper might spend the time to say they got a regular client or something. They might spend the time to talk to that client, get to know what they like, and over time they start to learn about them, and what makes them interested. A good copywriter is most likely going to spend time to do a bit of research, and then they're going to research the topic that they're writing about. Maybe they've got experience in it already, And they start to build that knowledge so that the next time that they write something for a similar audience, they're able to draw in their attention again. And this is all where the Halbert copywriting method part 3 really comes in handy. Is it's really nailing down that skill, making it more effective. You've got the novice stripper, right? The novice stripper who has come in, and she's building skills, she's learning the game, she realizes that there's more to it than just an elegant dance. There's interaction, there's like eye contact or whatever. Just as the copywriter who's just getting started starts to learn, like, okay, well, there's certain ways to create sentences to engage the reader's eyes, right? You don't want to fill up with an entire like huge wall of text because no one's going to read that. But if you just break that text up, if you create a huge wall of text, no one's going to read it. They might notice a couple words, but if you break that up into, beats, if you break that up into certain like specific sections, and you make them, more elegantly worded ideas, then people are actually going to read it. People are going to spend the time to watch those words and be able to engage with it and comprehend it. And with that, the Halbert copywriting method part 3 is an entire system to edit your text. So here's the thing is, where a lot of copywriters, this book is going to both speed up your ability to write copy and both increase and enhance the effectiveness of your copy. I mean, it's like a stripper getting 10 years of experience in just one moment. It's like having an expert dancer, expert stripper dance choreographer teach them the specific dances, and then having that expert knowledge, and then being able to tighten that down and to master those skills really quickly from an expert, from a master. So taking in this consideration a bit more, there's one thing with when a stripper, and this is just guessing, I'm creating a hypothetical situation at this point, but when a stripper is practicing their dance moves, they can take two routes, right? They can take that hardcore, Russian, practice every single section until it's become perfected route, where like you'll practice, and if you mess up, you start over from the beginning. That there's a method of teaching like instruments and music that way. And then there's the method of putting it into practice and then going all the way through the entire exercise. And ideally, you have someone either able to watch or someone able to record, so that you can find those parts that you want to perfect and that you want to master. And that is where method comes in like this. You get to practice the entire process. I would say you practice an entire process of writing, the entire process of copywriting, and you start to put your ideas into action. You start to, learn which part you want to seduce and which part you just want to like pull back a little bit and, leave them with a cliffhanger, and, what other part you want to just give a little bit, and then what other parts you got to like break up and make smaller, and some of the other areas where you got to like, enhance it and make it like a bigger idea. And, understanding how to apply all that, how to appeal to the eye, how to leave someone with a cliffhanger just the right amount so that they want more and they don't get too annoyed at your use of cliffhangers, right? I mean, there is a skill to that. There's a skill, an elegance, a process to that. And I think this is one of the best books that teaches that in an effective manner. So where there's books that teach copywriting, they teach every individual concept, and like you can write copy and you feel great at it, and maybe you've nailed some really good points, and you've done a good job of making good copy. But there's an entire art to copywriting that helps to make it even that much more effective. And this isn't just an editing book. It's not just about, okay, put this sentence here, make this sentence bigger, make this more appealing to the eye, add a comma here. It's not about like syntax or grammar or any of that. It's literally about having a formula, a system, and exact like words that could make somebody want exact way to edit your copy, something that you've already written, to increase the effectiveness 4 times. So instead of having to write for one audience like 4 times, you can have just one incredible, amazing copywriting text, one amazing piece of like advertisement. And compare this to a stripper. For the copywriter, this is like a stripper that has nailed down one very amazing dance to one, I guess they call it a set, to one amazing set or song, and then this one song just gets all the cheers and everybody's excited and everybody's spending money. So you consider that, and this is like learning that one fast, simple, easy dance routine that forces customers ready to get a lap dance or come back next time for your set again, right? So this is that equivalent. And even if you're not a stripper, I think you can easily relate to something like that in terms of understanding the psychology and the mind or the attitudes and the behaviors that are involved, right? So the reason why I get into that is because copywriting does dive deep into understanding buyers, understanding how the mind works, understanding how people read, how people engage the content, understanding communication, at the depth of it, right? So if we get deeper into the concept of stripping, I mean, that is getting to depths of human connection, you call it sexuality, the art of all of that, the art of seduction and whatever. And this is in the same light, getting into the core of that art and then perfecting it and then mastering it. Because most people just like, jump into something, they're just copyright, and then maybe they'll, maybe go over it once or twice to see if everything that they wrote is what they wanted to say. But to have the skills of going back, not just to evaluate your words from, okay, that is what I said, that is grammatically correct, that is syntactically correct, that is, where I wanted the comma, that period there makes sense. Going beyond that, looking beyond that, and looking to the point of saying, oh wow, if I was to just make this one sentence broken up into 2, I could keep my audience for just that second longer. If this stripper was able to do this movement at this 1 second, at this one moment, instead of doing that other movement, they might be able to keep their attention longer, right? So it's like that, to keep the attention of the other person, to keep them engaged. And he gets so into detail. Halbert, Bon Halbert, the son of Gary Halbert, does an incredible and amazing, a phenomenal job. It absolutely blew my mind how he was able to create this amazing system for not just copywriters that can apply this into their copy to make it more elegant while they're writing, but when they go back to their writing, not just to notice, the technical errors. Everyone can know about technical errors, and we learned that in like elementary school, right? Where to put periods, where to put commas, how many sentences should be in each paragraph, but to know specifically how to engage an audience, to engage someone who might potentially buy your product, who might be interested in your product, and to get them to take action. And that is ultimately what this book is about, to really help you narrow down that skill, to focus in laser-like, just like with a microscope, a scientist drilling in on finding a cure for COVID-19, something like that. And And to really drill down into that and hold on, I gotta pull this up before I continue. To do something like that, I mean, just think of the power that that has to dig in and experiment and to create better copy, understanding all the really fine details and why they work. You know, it's one thing to hear that you got to split sentences from one to two, and you know that helps to make the idea less complex and it helps keep the reader engaged. But why does it do that? How can you do that? Take that even a step further to make your copy more effective? And how can you combine? How do you separate these ideas? And what does the separation of ideas do? And you know, even getting specific to the types of words to use. This is an amazing resource for any copywriter out there. And you know, this would be like if a stripper was to read a Dita Von Teese book, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing her right, Dita Von Teese, right? Like I think she's a famous burlesque. I don't know if the skill or the actual moves are the same for a stripper, but you know that's that idea of you know her being famous for seduction, and stripper learning from that, and they had her to like literally correct their every move or whatever. This is like having the Dita Von Teese of copywriting for copywriters. I mean, it's an amazing book. So check that out. The Halbert Copywriting Method Part 3, the simple, fast, and easy editing formula that forces buyers to read every word of your ads. And even if you're not a copywriter, even if you're just a regular writer, or you want to learn how to create more engaging articles, or you know you're not selling something, but maybe you want to sell your ideas better, or maybe you want to get a bigger audience on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or you just want to think of an idea that you have to write like an ad for a package or some message for your about page. This can help you write a better message and communicate more effectively, because at the end of the day, what copywriters do is they communicate. They're not they're not always telling a story. They're not always like painting the picture of the trees and the bear and how you know scraggly his fur was after he got out of hibernation or whatever. You know, copywriters aren't doing that. They're communicating, you know, one to one. They're communicating a person to another person and putting that into writing, putting that like conversational style of writing into a book, into a text, is into something that engages buyers is much more difficult than you might think. And Gary and Bond does an amazing job of simplifying those ideas so that you can do it more effectively. He's got a ton of experience, very reputable name, the Halbert name for copywriting. It's powerful. Like, totally recommend if you're copywriting, check out this book, because the thing is, if you started copywriting, you probably have read a lot of books on copywriting already. You've probably heard of a lot of the ideas already, like attention, interest, desire, action. You know, you've probably heard of that formula, and you've probably heard of, you know, having a good headline, tagline. You've probably heard about, like, you know, maybe you've heard about whether you should use I or talk about the other person. You've heard about what does the other person want, but how to take that to the next step, how to edit that right, how to make it even more impactful, to make it even more engaging, to make it even more likely that the person is going to take action and buy your product, and it's going to read all of your words because your words mean that much and are that effective. This is the book to check out. So once again, the Halbert Copywriting Method Part 3, there's a link in the description below to this book. It's on Amazon right now. It is a fantastic read that is virtually guaranteed to help you find that extra oomph that you need to improve your copywriting, and it's a very quick read. You can get through this in maybe 2 sittings over an evening, and it's stuff that you can literally put into action right away. That's the one thing I love about reading these books on writing, on copywriting, is that with copywriting, it is literally the one thing that no matter where you're at right now, if you've got a phone, if you got a pen and paper handy, you can get that idea and execute it on it right away. You can put a tweet out. Like, that is how actionable writing is. Now, painting, you might have to go get up a paint set if you want to, if you want to get into fitness writing, the gym might be closed, or there's all types of excuses or reasons why you can't. Like, maybe it's 11 p.m. and you don't like to run at night, and you're not familiar with the territory. I mean, those might be some good reasons, or training. But with copywriting, this is literally everything in here you could test right away. You don't have to put on running shoes. You literally just pick up your phone, swipe to your app, and then go and start practicing. These ideas are actionable. They're very succinct. They're very powerful. So check this out today, the Halbert Copywriting Method, Part 3. You're going to be able to start to learn so many ideas that's gonna take you to the next level. That's going to make your writing more seductive, more intriguing, more eye-catching, more engaging, more effective, more powerful, and all of those things that are going to help your customers sell more products. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment if you like this video, if you like the analogy, if you disagreed with it, agreed with it. Love to hear any feedback, and check out the book on Amazon. Have a wonderful day.